You guys have been recently asking me a lot of questions regarding carb cycling on some of my other videos and some of my other nutritional videos. So in today's video, I want to address carb cycling. I'm going to talk a little bit about what carbohydrate cycling actually is and how you guys can incorporate it in your kind of fitness lifestyle daily meal plan in order to really help you stay more consistent on a good nutritional plan and also accelerate that kind of fat loss process. So if you guys want to learn more about carb cycling and how you guys can apply it into your daily life, then stay tuned for this video. Hi YouTube, it's your IFBB Bikini Pro, Lisette Howard. And like I mentioned in my intro, you guys have been recently asking me a lot about carb cycling. And there's kind of like a lot of information out there regarding carb cycling. I know that it's kind of like a new way to kind of introduce a diet plan into kind of like your fitness lifestyle. So today's video, I'm going to talk about what carb cycling is and kind of a little bit of the theory behind carb cycling and how actually I use it in my fitness lifestyle plan. So I actually do use carb cycling, not all the time, but it's something that I actually kind of cycle in and out of just throughout the entire year. And we're also going to talk about how you guys can use it and maybe apply it into your life. I think you're going to see some really great results, and more than anything, carb cycling is great to kind of help you stay consistent on a good nutritional program. So we're going to talk about what the difference is between just a regular 40-40-20 nutritional plan and a carb cycle. So before this kind of like theory or notion of carb cycling actually became like a coined term, bodybuilders have been using carb cycling for, I would say since like the 1990s. It's something that it was very much used in order to stay consistent on a calorie deficit diet. The key with carb cycling and what is carb cycling? Carb cycling basically means that you are increasing and decreasing your carbohydrates throughout the week. So there's 3 different kind of days of the week that you have in a carb cycle. So you have a low carb day, a high carb day, and a 0 carb day. Now, why do you want to kind of play around with your carbohydrates? Well, first and foremost, it's mostly for the glycogen depletion process. On a low carb day, your body is using up all of the stored glycogen in your muscles. So your glycogen is stored in your muscles. When you train, when you do cardio, your body uses, and throughout the day, for your daily activity, your body uses a stored glycogen in that muscle. Now, when you have a no carb day, your body is using up all of that stored glycogen to start helping you lose weight and kind of accelerate the rate at which your body is burning fat. Now, it's very difficult, especially for us ladies, to go, or even you guys, it's very difficult to live on a no carb diet. So the reason why you cycle in and out of carbohydrates is that in the long term, so if you look at the entire week or 2 weeks, you ended up having a low carb diet. So you're basically increasing and decreasing your carbs throughout the week so that at the end, when you looked back, you had kind of like a median line of low carbohydrates. And the reason why you want to do that is so that you can kind of, I don't want to say trick your body, but you're kind of keeping your body guessing on accelerating your metabolism and like what your body is actually doing in terms of weight loss or fat burning. So on a typical carb cycling plan, right, you want to have your regular macronutrients. You want to have a high protein diet, a moderate fat diet, and the only thing that's going to change are your carbohydrates. So your proteins and your fats pretty much stay consistent every single day. You're not really cycling in and out of protein and in and out of fats. You're just cycling your carbohydrates. So let's say I'm going to just kind of give you guys an idea of what my diet kind of looks like when I do a carb cycle. I usually have about 165 grams of protein a day and probably between 38 to 42 grams of fat. Now, with the carbohydrates, that's the only thing that changes. So for example, I'll start, let's say my week is going to start on a Monday. My Monday is a 0 carb. My Tuesday and my Wednesday are a moderate carb. And my Thursday is a high carb. Then again, Friday is a low carb. Saturday, Sunday is a moderate carb. Monday is a high carb. So you want to do this cycle in order to deplete all of the glycogen from your body, slightly increase your glycogen, and then spike your glycogen or spike your carbohydrate intake to kind of ramp up that metabolism. So if you guys have watched some of my other videos, you've heard me say this word leptin or talk about leptin hormone. Leptin is the hormone that regulates your body's metabolism. Now, if you are consistently for a long period of time on a low-calorie diet, your leptin hormone starts to drop along with your metabolism just a little bit, and it takes kind of time for this to happen. But once that leptin starts to drop, it becomes kind of difficult to keep your metabolism working efficiently. And again, this is based on a this is based on a low calorie diet. So the reason why the carb cycle works well is because it allows you to stay really, really strict on a diet with low carbohydrates or moderate carbohydrates for a couple of days. But then after 3 days or 4 days, you know that you have a day where those carbohydrates spike, and you kind of get you kind of satiate any sort of like craving or any sort of like low carbohydrate, day that you've been on. You know that you have a high carb day right around the corner. So it's really great for staying consistent with your diet. But more than anything, the high carb day is there to help spike back up those leptin levels. You want that leptin hormone to be high and working efficiently because it's what keeps your metabolism working really, really, really well. Now, you can do a carb cycle on a shred plan, or you can do a carb cycle on a bulk plan. For me, more than anything, it's a lot more efficient doing a carb cycle when I have a calorie deficit diet and I'm really trying to like shred up and get tight. Versus on a bulk plan. When I'm trying to put on a little bit more size, trying to put on a little bit more muscle, I'm kind of off season, I have an increase in my calories, I tend to just follow a 40-40-20 plan. So which is 40% of my total calories is protein, 40% carbohydrates, and only 20% fats. When I'm trying to shred or when I'm trying to get a little bit leaner and tighten up, I like to use a carb cycle because it allows me to do a little bit of what I call like damage control. So let's say, for example, Sunday was my off day. I didn't train, I didn't do cardio. I had some pizza or I had a burger and fries. Because I'm so full of glycogen, I'm so full of sugar, my fats are kind of high. The next day, so Monday comes along, I do a no carb day. So throughout that day, I'm using up all the stored glycogen that I had stored from the day before for my burgers and my fries and my pizza, whatever it is that I had. And then I also train. So I'll try to do some like heavy lifting that day. I'll do like a legs day, a glutes day, some cardio. Then I really know that I depleted all of the sugars, all of that glycogen from the day before. Then the next day, I'll do like a moderate carb day. So I'm not absolutely starving. I'm not going on zero carbohydrates for too long, but I'll keep it low. I'll keep my carbohydrates, good complex carbs. So I'm not storing up extra sugars. I don't want to like spike my insulin either. So that's the way that I use the carb cycle. So I have a day where I'll have a cheat. I'll have something that I really like. I know I kind of went a little bit overboard. The next day is my no carb day. I know that I'm depleting all of that glycogen. In my mind, just kind of psychologically, I feel like I'm doing a little bit of like damage control. So I have 3 to 4 really good, tight, consistent days. And then I know, okay, I can have a good cheat meal, or I can have, what we call a refeed day, a day where you kind of spike up those carbs, incorporate more carbs into your diet so that you can stay consistent again for like another 4 days. So it's a great way to first keep your body guessing, keep that metabolism really ramped up and working efficiently. And it also helps you stay more consistent on following kind of like a good, tight, shred program for a longer period of time when you know that you have 1 or 2 days throughout the week where those calories and those carbohydrates are increased. All right, so let's kind of just touch upon these points one more time. So what is carb cycling? Carb cycling is basically following a macronutrient plan where your protein is pretty high. So you definitely want the bulk of your nutritional plan to be good lean proteins. So your proteins stay consistent throughout the entire week. Your fats, which are kind of moderate fats, low to moderate fats, you want to keep those consistent throughout the entire week. And then your carbohydrates are going to increase and decrease throughout the week. Now, you can actually do your carb cycle however you want. You can go 0, moderate, 0, high. You can go none, high, moderate. You can actually adjust the carbohydrates as you please. You can work your carb cycle around days where you know you're going to have a cheat meal. So for example, if you ladies are married and you want to go on a date now with your husband, you're going to have some pasta, you're going to have some wine. Then if you know that like Friday night is going to be a high carb day, then arrange your carbohydrates, your high, lows, and mediums around the days where you know that you're going to go out and have an event or going to have like a good cheat meal. So there's 3 days in your carbohydrate cycle. You have a no carb day, a moderate carb day, and a high carb day. And those you can arrange however you want. Now, the theory behind the carb cycle again is basically decreasing and depletion of glycogen and like making sure that your blood sugars are nice and low, and then spiking your glycogen and decreasing your glycogen and spiking your glycogen. Now, one thing that I've learned with carb cycles is that they work most efficiently if you are following kind of like a good training program and cardio program structured around this carb cycle. So what I tend to do to kind of really accelerate my shred plan when I'm really trying to get ready for the stage or getting ready for a show, or I have a photo shoot or an event, or I have a video shoot and I do a carb cycle, I like to cycle my carbs around my cardio. So for example, I usually train consistently heavy throughout the week, so moderate to heavy weight every time I get in the gym. Now my cardio does go up and down. So for example, on a no carb day, I'll usually have the bulk of my cardio on a no carb day. I'll probably do 35 to 40 minutes of intense HIIT cardio or like a good intense run on a no carb day, so that I know that I really depleted all of that glycogen. Now the next day where I have a moderate carb day, I'll have moderate cardio. So I'll do maybe cardio 4 times a week. I'll space it on a no carb day and a moderate carb day, on a moderate carb day and a no carb day. I'll do the bulk of my cardio on the no carb days and my moderate cardio, probably 25 to 30 minutes on my moderate carb days. And that's kind of the way that I cycle it, staying consistent with my training every day. So usually I'll train 5 times a week, let's say 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on. My training will stay the same, it will stay consistent. The only thing that changes with my carbohydrate cycle is your cardio or my cardio. All right, so I know that this is kind of like a general guide for carb cycling. I didn't go really too much in depth with like the whole science behind it. I'm gonna make another video for you guys where we kind of really get into the nitty-gritty of carb cycling and how your body functions on a carb cycle. But I just wanted to give you guys just a little bit of like more of a general guideline so you guys can kind of understand the theory behind it and maybe start applying it into your program, especially if you know that you've gone out and you've had a couple of cheat meals here and there. It's a great way to do what I call kind of like damage control. I hate using that word because I don't like to do damage control, but it is a great way for you to kind of like not set back your nutritional plan or your training program or any transformation program. You're not going to have any setbacks if you do incorporate a little bit of a carb cycle. I hope you guys have found this video insightful. I hope I was able to kind of maybe give you guys a little bit more information on carb cycling. Stay tuned because I'm definitely going to go in depth in another series that I'm going to make on nutrition. So definitely stay tuned for that. Also, I've recently launched my new bikini body transformation programs. You guys can find them on my website, lisettehoward.com. You guys can click the link above. It'll take you directly there. You can get my resistance bands. You can get my transformation programs and my new bikini body program. And also stay tuned because you guys know I'm going to be sharing with you guys a lot more videos. Thank you so much for watching. You guys can also, by the way, find me on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook under Lisette_Howard_fitness. I post tons of fitness lifestyle related, pictures and videos. I share all of my transformations from all of you ladies that I've had an amazing pleasure of working with. And I also share a lot of my training tips on there. So find me on Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram, and stay tuned because another video is going to be coming right up. Ciao guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.